Testing 1, 2, 3. Oh, we're there. Good morning and welcome. My name is Don Popple and I'm your chairman today. This is a committee of adjustment meeting for October the 9th, 2024. Will now come to order. A notice to all those in attendance that this meeting will be live streamed on YouTube and recorded. And please note the recording will be linked to the municipal website following the meeting. Our committee today consists of Mr. Boyce and Mr. Bishop, and semi-chairman here is Adam Meyer. This is a public hearing to consider two applications for a minor variance to the municipality zoning bylaw. It's this committee's responsibility to consider any information received to date regarding the requested variances and to hear and consider any comments or questions provided by these applications. Any variances granted by the committee must meet 4 tests, which are very clearly defined in the Planning Act. The requested variance must 1, be minor in nature, and 2, be desirable for the property development land, 3, comply with the general intent of the official plan, and comply with the general intent of the zoning bylaw. If anyone wishes to be notified of the decision, please make a request in writing to the municipality. And no one has a conflict of interest, I wouldn't think. Nothing to declare. So any oral or written submissions received in advance of the meeting will be verbally read aloud at the time the application is considered. All persons who have pre-registered will have an opportunity to present and ask questions about the proposals. Please direct your questions and comments to the chair. Please state your name in relation to the application prior to speaking. So the first thing we have to do is adopt the meeting or adopt the minutes of the meeting from August 14th. So can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Chris. Barry Boyce. It's moved and seconded that the minutes for the Committee of Adjustment meeting of August 14th be adopted. Carried. We're good to go. The first request we're dealing with is file D13 MV 2024. No, that's not it, is it? McGreevy. That's this guy, right? This gentleman right here. Okay. You want to, Mr. McGreevy, if you'd like to give us a quick synopsis of what your proposal is, I'm sure we'll have some questions for you and we'll see what can be worked out.
Paul McGreevy, property owner of 140 Maple Avenue. I had 2 requests in the variance application. First thing I'm going to do, simplify this whole thing, is withdraw my request to build to the property line. I realize I'm kind of scrambling here, trying to go in circles. It was a stupid idea. So let's take the building to the property line off. What that does, though, is leaves me with my lot percentage overage. This one becomes very important to me. I made the mistake of getting involved with my neighbor, 138 Maple. He's a non-compliant guy. I was assuming that I could remain compliant if I got the severance of his property. I would remain compliant on my lot overage. My severance is being denied because he's non-compliant. That puts me in a vulnerable position. I have a license of occupation. I like to be compliant, and now I'm not. So this thing has been going on in circles. I've been trying to get an access to my house, means of egress and stuff. What I realized I could do is now at this point, if you guys can grant me the percentage lot amendment, then I'm compliant again. Then what I will do is sometime down the road, I'll apply for a building permit to put in a window. And that way I don't have to build to any property lines. Simple building permit to put in a larger window. I get my means of egress to safety up my house, and we resolve this whole issue.
Well, I don't think we have a problem with that.
Okay,
because it's a fairly small lot you have and there's several buildings on it. And so what you're saying is that the application about the minimum interior side lot line setback, you want that, withdraw that.
I'm not gonna build a 40-inch building
So we
there.
just
It's,
deny it?
it's
So we'll just deny
grasping
it.
at straws, you know, trying to safety my house. I'm unhappy with my means of egress and yeah,
Well-
now I look back and go, okay,
Well, we will deny that part of your application.
fine.
And I need a mover and variant or
On,
a seconder. Go
Adam.
ahead.
Can I read the conditions?
Yep.
So notice of the minor variance was circulated as required by regulation on June 25th, 2024. There were no oral or written comments received. And should the committee decide to grant the requested variances, the following conditions would be appropriate. One, this variance applies to the single-family dwelling as shown generally on the property sketch dated May 23rd, 2024, and attached to the decision. Any encroachment beyond the variance granted herein will require a further application for a minor variance. Two, prior to the pouring of footings, the applicants must submit confirmation from an Ontario land surveyor that the single-family dwelling complies with the interior side lot line setback and maximum lot coverage as granted by the committee. Three, no windows, doors, decks, stairs, lights, or other openings are permitted on the side of the building abutting the neighboring property to the north. And four, the applicant should consider installing a fence along the interior side lot line. Now, if you are to deny the first variance for the interior side lot line, condition number 3 and 4 would not be required. And condition number 2, we can take out the complies with the interior side lot line setback.
Well, we'll just deny it. First part of the application, correct?
Yes, but you'll have to motion to remove these conditions from the
Okay.
decision. 'Cause
Well,
they're no longer needed.
there are two applications here. The first is a variance to section 5.2 to permit a single family dwelling to have a minimum interior side lot line setback of 0.1 meters or 0.3 feet as opposed to required legal non-complying is denied. Correct?
correct. Yes.
Correct. And the variance to section 5.2 to permit a maximum lot coverage of 40% as opposed to the permitted maximum of 35% is granted.
But
Gary?
first, I think we have to get rid of those conditions. Is that
Yes,
right?
if somebody wants to make a motion.
I'll
to
make a
remove
motion that we get
condition
rid
3
of
and 4.
conditions.
3 and 4 and to edit condition 2 to remove that interior side lot line setback confirmation.
Yeah. Second that.
Variance of section 5.2 permitted lot coverage of 40% as opposed to permitted maximum 35% granted.
Okay, yep.
Ready to go, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Good luck.
Okay, very good.
Turn on mic, there we go. Here.
Got it, President.
Yeah, press it when you talk,
Yeah,
when you're done.
The request is for a variance to section 5.2 to permit maximum shoreline lot coverage be 17.5% as opposed to permitted maximum of 15%. Correct? Yep. Do you have any comments on that or?
Would you guys like to discuss it before I read the comments and conditions?
Go ahead,
As
Brad.
far as discussion, I do know that the lot, it's been cleaned up considerably from what it was. So anyway, I'm fine with it. There's some conditions that have you read those conditions? Do you have any issues with those?
First of all, good morning, everybody. We're Greg and Sarah and pleased to be here. We were fortunate to purchase the Bailey's property and you're right, we're endeavoring to improve it, cleaned it up, and we're planning to build a place that we plan to enjoy with our boys. So nice to meet everybody. So we've read the recommendations and we're fine with everything. There's one item that I would like to discuss, which is specifically number 4. Right, and so that's saying that before pouring footings to have an Ontario Land Surveyor provide a confirmation. And I think we're already there. One, we got Tom Neville that's pouring footings literally today, tomorrow. So that will delay our project, and we're trying to get things out of the ground before the snow comes. So hoping we can avoid that. My comments would be that we did have a surveyor in to confirm how far the garage is back, which is part of what's already been submitted. As part of that, they did pin where the footings are to go, so that's been completed, and they've also confirmed that we're within the variance of the lot line, which was something that was on an item about a year ago. So the simple math is we know the total area of the square foot shoreline, which is 19,685 total square feet. And for us to be within the 17.5 is us to demonstrate on paper that the coverage is 3444 square feet or less, which we're prepared to do to accelerate the process.
Would you like me to read the conditions? Just so everybody can hear them, is that all right?
Yeah.
So notice of the minor variance was circulated as required by regulation on September 24, 2024. There were no oral or written comments received. Should the committee decide to grant the requested variance, the following conditions would be appropriate. This variance applies to a seasonal dwelling and garage as shown generally on the property sketch dated September 10th, 2024 and attached to the decision. Any encroachment beyond the variance granted herein will require a further application for a minor variance. 2, the County of Haliburton Shoreline Tree Preservation Bylaw 3505 applies. The injuring or destruction of trees within 30 meters of the high water mark is not permitted. The exemptions noted in Section 3 of Bylaw 3505 apply. Furthermore, additional native shoreline planting is encouraged to screen the buildings, naturalize the shoreline, and address environmental concerns. Condition 3, during construction, proper site preparation and construction methods are to be used to prevent sedimentation of the adjacent lake. Sediment fencing is to be installed down gradient from the construction site. The site is to be properly stabilized immediately following construction to prevent erosion and sedimentation. Condition 4, prior to the pouring of footings, the applicant shall submit confirmation from an Ontario Land Surveyor that the development complies with the maximum shoreline lot coverage as granted by the committee. Condition 5, prior to occupancy, the shoreline shall be repaired to a natural state using native vegetation. Buffers and clearing are permitted as per the site alteration bylaw.
So, do you want, I'll go, Chris. So number 4 is your issue. So Chris, maybe you can help us out on this, but if we were to say that we give them a date of such and such a time to have that done, they can carry on with their project. They seem to know what their setbacks are, what you need. You've given us the numbers there. I think you pretty well got it handled. Is that a possibility that we can say, let's have it done by November 1st or something, so these guys can carry on? Adam, sorry.
The committee could change that to prior to occupancy. Now you guys have had surveyor confirmation on the area within the 60
have. We've
meters
had a
and how
surveyor.
much your buildable area is within that.
Right.
You can speak with the building department. That may satisfy that condition anyways, because you have
Right.
had confirmation from a surveyor how big that area is down to the foot and how much you can build and how big your building would be.
Yeah,
That would
again, I mean, I'm
Essentially
just,
satisfy it.
I'm asking to save us a
Yeah.
little bit of cost because it's expensive having them come out again. We've already paid to have them out and address what was asked and also timing. So if we could do that, that'd be great. Otherwise, I think it allows us to at least, continue our project would be valued.
We'll just change the wording on that prior to occupancy and
If
they can
the
check
committee
into the
wants
building
to.
department, what they've got may satisfy everybody as is, or.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we've shared math back and forth with the building department. I think we can
Okay.
probably suffice that.
And a letter from
So
the
could you
garage
add
was
that?
submitted, and the measurement from the side lot was already submitted so the 2 measurements from the surveyor was already submitted.
What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I'm good on that. Yeah, I'm good there. I think just number 5 is prior to the occupancy is just plant some vegetation, the shoreline to pretty it up. I looked at it today. I was down there. It was all, looks like it was all grass before. So we really haven't removed anything, but I'm sure that you look like reasonable people that will want to pretty up the shoreline and some vegetation there. to bring it back to a normal state.
My wife's excited to pretty it up.
Lovely, lovely. Happy to do that.
It's a happy wife is a happy life. So are you okay with that? We all
Yeah.
good with that?
Yeah.
You good with that, sir?
Yeah, just so I understand, the intent is that we change the language, we can work with the building department to confirm measurements and ideally get that just
Yeah.
addressed.
Basically, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so if you want to switch it to occupancy and then once you speak with the building department, that might satisfy that condition because you already have the measurement
Great.
within that 60 meters.
And the only caution is variance or.
Yeah, that's kind of a buyer. It's kind of a buyer beware thing, but
Yeah,
I'm
I think
pretty
we,
confident you got a handle on it. That's.
we have an existing
Yep.
communication with the building department. We can probably have it addressed in a couple of days, sharing that.
Okay, so we'll deal with the requested variance then, which is to section 5.2 to permit a maximum shoreline lot coverage be 17.5% as opposed to the permitted maximum of 15%.
I'll
Moved by Barry and seconded by Chris. And it's granted.
Thank you all very much.
You're welcome.
Indeed, we'll be there for the opening party. Moved and seconded, we now adjourn at 11:17. That's a record. Way to go. The move by Barry Boyce. Second by Chris Bishop. Be resolved, the meeting now be adjourned at 11:17 a.m.